it's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com. I want to go over some advanced phase one interceptive and expander RPE delivery and compliance tricks and tips. And I know that's a lot, and you're like, what the heck is she talking about? I'm talking about fixed, removable bite plates, expanders, vertical appliances, APA appliances, whatever. Stuff we're doing in the tendon under crowd to fix bites. People are always asking, give me tricks and tips. How do you do this? How do you make it happen? And it really isn't you, the orthodontist. It's a teamwork approach, and it takes really good culture in your office. It takes really good teamwork in your practice, but it also takes really good teamwork from that family. And you have to have all the components in place, which is why I think it's so critically important not to skip the step of meeting and essentially dating your doctor and your patient. Like, that sounds weird, but you guys gotta make sure you sync, and you gotta make sure it's a good fit, that the parents connect with the doctor, and the doctor connects with the patient, and the patient connects with the team, and everybody has to be a great communicator and understand the goals and the objectives for this all to work out. And this is a marathon, not a sprint. You're going to be dating this patient for a year or years. I say dating because you're getting to know them, right? That's the point. So let's go over just like a ton of tricks and tips. I mean, obviously, like I said, it's a matter of finding the right community to do this, to lead this. This is not a one-time visit. This is multiple years. You'll probably be working together, and you might even be working with the whole family for multiple years. So it's a matter of finding the right orthodontist who's flexible and intuitive, gets your communication pattern. It sounds funny because I like to really just take experiences in my everyday life and reflect them back to dentistry and how we can make our offices better. And right now, you may have heard me say that I'm interviewing people to power wash our house. We got a new house, and there are areas that are super gross and dirty, and it's adjacent to a volcano. So I live in Hawaii, so I mean we get a lot of dust, and it's red dust from the red iron dirt. So I mean it gets all over stuff, right? So anyways, long story short, interviewing all kinds of people. I'm not going with whoever's cheapest or I'm going with whoever I communicate with best long term, to hire. So there's a lot of things that are of value to me when I pick the right person, and it's not just money. So keep that in mind. Not every doctor is a great communicator with both teens and kids. And to be honest, the vast majority of orthodontists, now that I look at it, are quite fun and neurodivergent. We're a pretty spicy community. We're fun. There's a lot of really boring orthodontists out there, but I don't know that being really good at doing orthodontic puzzles doesn't necessarily equate success in your practice. It just means that you probably do really good work, and it's kind of a gatekeep secret. But your communication and your culture might not be great. A really successful orthodontist is more about communication and culture, and probably less about how good your ortho is. But if you can do it all, go for it. So you don't have to do it all. But it really just comes down to being able to communicate with the family really well. As well as just giving the patient as much control over the experience as possible. And I know you guys are like, what? But this is like Kid 101. And again, I mean, I have four younger brothers and sisters. I'm the oldest of five, and the next one down is 7 years lower than me. So I mean, I basically was raising these kids. Welcome to the 70s and 80s, where kids did inappropriate things in their houses. So I have a lot of experience with compliance and getting kids to behave. And which is the word we used in the 70s and 80s, but now it's just about communication and everything. And I think the way that we communicate with children and teens now is drastically different than it was in the 80s and 90s and even early 2000s. And you either got to get on board with the way kids are communicated with now, or this is working with kids in an ortho capacity is not going to be a good fit for you. So, if you don't have the right personality to do this, don't do this. But if you do have the right personality to do this, do it. It's so fun. And even if you aren't the right person, your team members, if they're the right people and they're willing to be the communicators, you can still be the brain. So that's what I'm getting at. Make sure that the patient and the patients have the most control. So if it means that you're offering colors, do not upcharge the colors. I mean, these are like $20, $30, $40 little marketing boosters, okay? Little marketing, even better if you could put your logo in the implants. There's so much stuff you can do to promote your practice by just being fun and blingy, okay? Colors. Everyone should have colors. I don't care if you're doing braces. Don't do self-ligating brackets. Get the ones with colors. Use appliances with colors. Use stickables on your Invisalign. The more you bling out your stuff and make it fun, the more when that aligner comes out of the patient's mouth at school, they're gonna be like, "Wow, that's cool. Who's your orthodontist? I want to go to him." There's so much internal marketing that goes on just being cool and letting your patient pick the experience. So you go over different ways we can do expansion, we can do removal, we can do a fix, we can do it with an IPE, we can do it with a colored expander. Here's the pros and cons. Go over the pros and cons. It's not just about colors, but let them have some control over it, and they're going to be so much more compliant when they feel like they have control over it. Same thing goes with expander turns. Some patients are going to have to, there's not a set rate, and I know I say 2 turns a week, 1 turn a week for this. No, there's going to be some kids who have more sensory issues and some that have less, that could go a little faster and they want to go faster. So be willing to tweak and change your process to make sure it's a right fit for a patient or a parent. So let them play with all the tools that aren't obviously anything that's not sharp. Let them touch things. You have to keep in mind when you're scheduling appointments, there's going to be some kids that are going to need a little more time and some that are going to need less, and that should be something that you almost have like a widget or a note. Like, you should have a code. Like, we would have codes in our charts, and this was back in the days of paper charts, but certain like highlighter colors would need a little more time. So if it was borderline, we'd always round up on the time, and less, because if they don't like to be rushed or they have a lot of anxiety or a lot of questions, we don't want them to feel like they're being rushed at their appointments. And that's just all about being a great doctor and having the right culture in your practice. So anyways, I've got lots of tips and tricks, but it really just comes down to just enjoying the process and letting go of control on aspects where you can. And even if it's an extra $5 or $10 to buy those glow in the dark ties or whatever, having all the fun stuff in your practice is massive internal and external marketing. So just do it. Let your team come up with ideas, and take ideas from the patients, because to be honest, the patients know what their friends have, and they're going to ask you for stuff. So if they're asking for something specific, find out what it is. They want star colored shaped brackets. Great, get star shaped brackets. That's great. You can offer a lot of variability as long as it works as well as the other ones, and I don't mind, but they don't get to switch it out later. If they decide they don't like the star shaped brackets, then it's $1,000 to have them replaced with traditional brackets. I mean, that you can do. So all right. Hope you enjoyed all these tips. Take care.